We want to welcome everybody this morning to the Westlake's Channel 6, Ask Sasol, which is what we've been on before. We have with us my good friend, Richard Baggett, who is an entrepreneur, I guess, for the city of Westlake. He's doing well. And we also have the man of the hour, which is Mike Hayes. And this man is in charge of public relations with
Public Affairs.
Public Affairs.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to have to remember that. You've told me before. But. So anyway, we're here today just to kind of continue what we were talking about a few weeks ago when we suggested Sasol coming in and kind of laying the groundwork of what's going to be taking place. And I understand today that you want to start off to kind of bring us up to date with
Sure.
Sasol, and if you would do that, but I appreciate you being here very much.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Okay, just a quick update. We have received our air permits from the Department of Environmental Quality. EPA signed off on those. We're still, I think, in the period where we're waiting to see if there are any challenges to those permits. We've received the water permit from EPA. We've received approval of our zoning application, which would allow us to start construction on the site, and the only permit that we're still waiting for is our Corps of Engineers wetlands permit, and we have to have that before we can disturb any soil. So we're hoping for the wetlands permit to be issued in the next month or so, and once that happens, then we'll get started on site clearing and site preparation activities. Expect that to begin sometime in the middle part of the summer, and that will also give us the opportunity to get started with our modification of Sulphur Avenue and Houston River Road for the heavy haul route.
Okay.
Which we posted on our site before, the heavy haul route.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and I think we've got some questions today, some more in-depth questions about the heavy haul route.
There was a lot of concern about what was happening on the south side of Sulphur Avenue. So
Right.
that would be a perfect time to get into that. So
You mentioned something I want to ask you about. Who would challenge the permits? What?
Environmental groups, civic groups that are opposed to various sorts of growth. You know, there are people that do oppose industrial expansion. There are people that do oppose the chemical industry. So those are the groups that might challenge.
And how long do they have to challenge that?
I think they have to file their challenge within 30 days of permit issuance.
And that was?
I don't remember exactly the date, but it's been in the last 3 weeks.
Oh, so time is running out.
Yeah.
So it could very well go unchallenged.
It could.
Okay.
That's our hope.
now,
Yes, sir.
I need to ask the question. You said talking about starting work in the middle of the summer.
Right.
I thought July was kind of like in the middle of the summer. Is it or? Okay. All right.
Yeah, if we get
You
our
got-
Corps of Engineers permit,
You're ready to go.
We're chomping at the bit. We want to get started.
We had I have another question for you.
Sure.
Donna Oxley had asked the question, and I think she on Facebook, and she had it answered on Facebook. But for the people out there, the viewers that are watching this who don't know, could you give us an idea of Sasol and what other states they're located in the United States, and where, if they're not from the United States, where is their company originally located?
The company, I'll answer the first one, or the last one first. The company is originally from South Africa. The company was formed over 50 years ago and is the largest producer of fuels in South Africa. They provide something on the order of 30 to 40% of the transportation fuels for the country of South Africa, using the same process that we intend to use here, which is the Fischer-Tropsch process. In the U.S., Sasol has holdings here in Louisiana with our facility here next to Westlake. The company has a small operation in Tucson, Arizona that makes synthetic sapphires, which are the things that give you the red light for the scanners, you know, at the grocery store. We have a wax facility in Richmond, California, and we have operations in Greens Bayou, which is near Houston, a small plant in Winnie, Texas, and another facility in Oil City, Pennsylvania. But Lake Charles operations are far and away the largest.
Yeah. I hate that when you use Lake Charles operation.
I'm sorry.
You know, it's okay.
Our
I
Southwest
understand.
Louisiana
I understand.
operations.
Okay.
Westlake. Westlake operation.
Yeah, I was just fixing to tell you that I appreciate the fact that you said, you know, next to Westlake, but
Yeah.
it's all right. We can go from there with it.
Well, you know, that's a battle we continue to fight.
I
You know,
understand.
change is
I
hard.
understand.
Change is
Yeah.
hard.
Change is hard.
Yeah.
Change is hard.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question in no particular order, by the way.
Sure.
So this is not gonna have any rhyme or reason to it. We have a number here. We have this young lady was here under the impression that Sasol will help with Westlake's train and bridge delays. I want to know if there's any truth to that.
Well, we you know, with our heavy haul route and the hauls that we'll be doing, we're looking at ways to communicate when we have transports that will be moving and which roads will be blocked, and we want to make sure that everyone is fully aware that those are happening. We're also looking at ways to identify and communicate train movements so that people will know before they get to the crossing if a train is there or not. This is still in the formative stages, but we're looking at how can we do something to help people know when it's, you know, when it's the right time to go and when it's not. So we're working on that. We also have done a traffic study as a part of our proposed project, and that traffic study has identified a number of changes which should help facilitate traffic movement in a number of locations. You know, we're also proposing to build that connection, that north-south road connection between Coach Williams Road, between Old Spanish Trail and Houston River Road, and that should give a cutoff that will really help a lot of people bypass Westlake and hopefully relieve some of the traffic congestion.
Okay.
I think the question is going to boil down to, is Sasol going to build us an overpass or involve themselves in building an overpass over the railroad tracks, or if they're going to help us build a new bridge across?
Well, right now
Gulf
we
River.
don't have any plans for the overpass.
That's not on the agenda for today.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's not. You know, we think that between the parish and the DOTD, there's a lot of opportunity for that overpass to be built. But you know, that it has to go through those organizations to make it happen.
Right. Okay, you got a young man here that says, why are taxpayers paying to repave Old Spanish Trail if Sasol is going to take it over from Coach Williams Road to Westlake?
Well, the answer to that is Sasol is not going to take over Old Spanish Trail. We have no intention of closing Old Spanish Trail. Our intentions are to pay for the widening of Old Spanish Trail in Sulphur Avenue, but that will still remain a state road, and will be governed by DOTD and the parish, just as it is now.
Okay. All right. Very good. Will Sasol, boy, we're getting personal now.
Yes, sir.
Will Sasol expansion take out Pete's Corner, which is formerly Westlake Discount Furniture? Also, what about the mobile homes behind that store?
No, it will not take out Pete's Corner or the mobile homes behind the store. You know, there are a lot of questions in here about that section of roadway.
Right.
We're still working on our plans and working with Phillips 66 on our plans for, you know, how do we manage Guillory Street and Houston River Road. You know, we're really looking for a way to try to take the pressure off of Guillory, and hopefully we can come up with something. But you know, we're still in design, we're still in negotiation, and you know, our intention is to build on the west side of the road, on the west side of Guillory. It's just a question of how far are we going to be able to build on the west side of Guillory. Are we going to be able to separate Houston River Road and Guillory? We don't know. We'd like to, but at the end of the day, we don't know if that's going to be possible.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
There was a Westlake had one time had asked for that intersection to be changed up. Are y'all working with that realm, or?
We're working with the DOTD and we're working with Phillips 66, and you know, we don't know if it's possible yet.
Okay.
We would really like to get there, but
Right.
we don't know if it's possible.
I think the word is that y'all were getting ready to buy Peterson's place, you know, and the whole bit that goes with it. So
Unless something changes in the design for Guillory Street, if you're in Westlake near Old Spanish Trail, Sulphur Avenue, Guillory Street, or Houston River Road, it's most likely that if Sasol's going to purchase your property, you've been contacted.
Right. You know by now.
If you haven't been contacted, it's highly unlikely that we're going to buy. It's possible, but highly unlikely.
Right. Because the master plan is in place.
Yeah, we're working the details.
Right.
now, another question that has come up is this intersection here, Sampson Street and the Old Spanish Trail, Sulphur Avenue.
We're not taking out Burger King.
Oh, okay. Well, I had heard that the street was going to be to the north side of Sulphur Avenue and then come over to the south side at this intersection.
We're on the way the current design lays out, we're on the south side of Sulphur Avenue all the way past Burger King. Now, as we move down Houston River Road, as we move down Old Spanish Trail, we have to straighten out some of those curves. And with Phillips 66 being with permanent facilities right there on the south side, we have to start moving more to the north as we move down. As we move down Old Spanish Trail. When we get to the intersection of Old Spanish Trail and Guillory, though, we're still working that, and still don't know. There's some buildings that may be affected, and there's some buildings that may not, and then we intend to go. It's our desire to go to the west side of Guillory to meet Houston River.
Your needs. Okay.
So.
Okay. Is there an alternate heavy haul route? Because the current route I use to respond to emergency call and truck drivers do not yield to lights and sirens. Please find a way to resolve this. I think that's not a question. I think he's telling you he needs you to do this.
Okay. We'll take note of his.
I'm assuming
we are considering alternate. What are the alternates? You know, as we have a module moving, we want to communicate to people that there are alternates. We want to stay in constant contact with the emergency responders so that they know where our modules are should anything happen. We're looking at, we've talked to them about how many pull-offs do we need to get out of the way, and so we've had conversations with the emergency response people. And they're pretty comfortable with knowing where we are and knowing that there are a lot of different ways that they can get to from point A to point B.
Good. Okay, that's great, and that's, you're right, because in a community this size, you know, you shut down one way in or one way out, and it could be a problem. So
yeah, fortunately, we have a lot of ways in and a lot of ways out.
That's great.
I'm curious about, did he say that they didn't have to stop for?
He said, because the current route I use to respond to emergency call and truck drivers do not yield to lights and sirens. Okay.
Okay.
So that's really not a Sasol problem.
Yeah,
That's
and if he's saying that you know, the truck driver who's hauling this large piece of equipment isn't going to respond, this isn't a very nimble piece of equipment. You know, all they can do is basically go or stop, and that's about it. It's not fast, and it's not.
So this vehicle does not corner well?
Yeah, hopefully it does.
Yeah, but mostly breaks, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, young lady, this is a real estate question again. Hello, in January I bought my house on Miller Avenue, what will now be the corner of Sulfur and Miller. I was not informed of Sasol plans before purchase. Otherwise, I would not have purchased this house. I have a small child and do not like the idea of living in the corner of two busy streets. Okay, I assume they will be widening Houston River Road. How wide will it be?
Is that a different question?
Oh, I think it's, no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
It's a, there it is. Here's the rest of it. Are there any plans or intersect in my property by Sasol?
On the corner of Miller and the,
Right. I think this young lady's
Sulfur Avenue.
main question is should she have been informed by the seller of impending plans by Sasol? And
Odds are the seller did not know.
that's correct.
You know, I really can't comment on property values, but I can tell you with the number of people that are coming to the area, not only for construction but also for full-time jobs, that there's no better time than today. Well, tomorrow will be better than today, and the next day will be better than tomorrow to sell a house. You know, if she's not happy with her location, put a sign in the yard, because houses are going very fast.
Vacant land is going very fast.
Yes, so if you're not happy living where you live right now, put a sign in your yard. Odds are someone will help you out.
Someone's going to buy it.
Yep.
No, that's right. This young lady is, her mother's disabled, and it will take her some time. Moved, I think it tells us where she lives. We would like to know when Houston River buyouts will take place. Okay, my mother is disabled. Okay, now are there buyouts on Houston River?
If we need your property on Houston River Road, we've contacted
That's
you.
what that's okay.
Yeah.
That's the answer to that.
You know, there's again a very low potential that we may, you know, seek to purchase additional property on Houston River Road, but I would reemphasize that it's very unlikely. Very unlikely.
Let's see, does the widening of John Stein have anything to do with Sasol? When are they going to start?
I think John Stein, the widening of John Stein has been on the books for a number of years. That's nothing associated with us.
So that's not a route.
No.
That's okay.
No. As a matter of fact, the limitation for John Stein is the parish has an ordinance that basically prohibits truck traffic on John Stein.
Okay.
Heavy truck traffic.
they're designing it to be a 3-lane road, and I think it's going to be between the parish and the city of Westlake, on the part that would be west of Sampson Street.
But you know, building access to that golf course is very important.
Yes.
And so, yeah.
This young lady's got a good question, and she normally does. Just need to know the plan of action. When and where will the road work begin, and when can we expect to start seeing all the new workers?
Okay, the road work, if all goes well with our Corps of Engineers permit, the road work should start happening August or September.
Okay.
We want to knock out the section in front of the school first. Hopefully we can do that before school starts. But we're going to try to get that taken care of first, and then work our way west. We want to minimize the impact and disruption to back to school traffic. And remember also that we'll be expanding Sulphur Avenue to the south. I don't know if the plan calls for disrupting any of the existing pavement, so I don't know if Sulphur Avenue will be closed down during this period, but you know, we're looking at how can we keep it open as we continue to do the widening.
Okay. This young man says, I assume they will be widening the Houston River Road. How wide will it be, and how far west will they widen it?
We intend to widen it to about Evergreen Road.
Okay.
It may go farther than that. I haven't seen the final design. Basically, our initial widening will double the width. The number of lanes, though, will be set by DOTD. So they're the ones that decide how many stripes and where they're put.
And if it can be 4 lane, 5 lane, they make all those decisions.
They make all those decisions. They also make the decisions about when we can transport modules. So it won't be Sasol's call, it will be DOTD that says you can move module at X from this time to this time.
Okay. Repetitive, I'm going to do it anyway. I have property on Gulf Way Boulevard. I heard rumors about Sasol buying out everything on the west side of the golf course to the river. Okay.
I can say with certainty it's not true.
Not true. Not true. That is not happening in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
Again, I think the comment that we made earlier was if you haven't been contacted by now, there's a good chance, very good likelihood that your property is not being considered as part of the buyout. And I know that's disappointing for some of us because we sure wanted that letter. But I know I was excited about getting a letter from you. I just never did.
Well, I may write you a letter.
Well, good. Usually it's email, and I don't get that excited about the email, but that's good. Okay. I've had several people ask me about the, and we touched on it last time, about Westlake people applying for jobs, and we touched on training last time we were talking. Okay. Mm-hmm. But is there any way that we can get, is there any way to get Westlake people a priority, a first shot at contracts for small businesses, okay, or employment?
We're looking at how can we maximize our local engagement, how can we maximize our local hiring, not only for the construction jobs, but also for the full-time jobs. It just makes sense for us to work with local businesses. It makes sense for us to hire our employees locally. Local employees are less expensive and more loyal than people that come in from out of state. So it's just good business to do it that way. And
since we're not going to fix the bridge, okay, these folks are on this side of the road.
Representative Bustani said he's going to fix the bridge.
Yes, I had breakfast with him Saturday. I had breakfast with him Saturday. He told me that too. I thought that was the cutest story I've ever heard. But gosh, I hope it's true.
I hope so too.
But no, it is cool because our folks are on the right side of the train, on the train tracks, I should say. So it behooves y'all. Nobody calls in sick. Nobody calls in late.
Say 5 minutes to there.
That's right. That is right. What's some other questions you had, Mayor, that you've heard people talk about? You ask about.
Well, I think the one thing is that we're talking about how many acres have y'all purchased?
Oh, geez.
If you have an idea, I'd seen 1352 at one time.
Yeah, have we purchased?
Yeah,
I'd have to get that number, but I think it's around 1,400.
1,400
for the plant site itself.
Yeah, and all of that is pretty much a kind of like a built-in. You're going to be building on those acreage, as well as having a buffer zone in that area too.
So within that same acreage. Yeah,
it's going to be good. And you have like a 5-year lease agreement with Port of Lake Charles. So you're going to be offloading all of your vessels and those kinds of things down here on the river.
We still have to work through those plans, but we want to work with the Port of Lake Charles to the extent we can. They were very instrumental in helping us to get this site.
Sure.
A lot of people don't realize that the plant site that we have now, where we're proposing to expand, a lot of people don't realize that was not the first site that we looked at, because we didn't think that there was enough available and usable land to build this. So we looked at 4 other locations within Calcasieu Parish after we decided that Louisiana was the place to build this. And so,
I didn't know that.
yeah, so, you know, when, you know, take a step back, when we started looking at plant siting, you know, this goes back to 2009, 2010. You know, we looked, Sasol was looking at various states, various locations, and we went through a siting process where we picked winners and losers, and fortunately, Louisiana was one of the winners, because Louisiana had the foresight to have a growth strategy that included GTL before gas to liquids, before we even identified Louisiana as the place. Louisiana had a team in place, starting with the governor and the economic development people and his staff, that really really persuaded our management team that Louisiana was the place to build. You know, they really, you know, they outlined their expectations for us, you know, in terms of the environmental protection and the safety requirements and the technological requirements and the jobs and so forth, so on. We had requirements to meet, but in any partnership, you know, there's both sides have to
give and take.
Have to have that, and the support that we got from the state of Louisiana is a big reason that we said, okay, let's look at Calcasieu Parish, because of all the infrastructure and everything that was here. So we looked at plant site locations, 4 different locations that were not adjacent to our plant, and it was only through the port and LED that we were able to identify that there was sufficient usable land available for purchase to make it work at our facility. So to a lot of people, it seems obvious that that Sasol would have picked that location because we already had a plant there, but the fact that we had a plant there really had very little relevance on the fact that we picked. You know, and just as any other economic development situation, the fact that there was a strong team in place that was able to sell Louisiana as the place to be, and was able to represent to us that you know, they were going to be our partners in this endeavor. You know, a lot of places, a lot of economic development choices are made based on the team that's in place. And if you don't have that team in place to do that development, to do the economic development that needs to be done, you don't know that you were even considered, because, you know, the decision's made and you move on, and, you know, people in the other states are sitting there wondering, well, I wonder why Sasol didn't consider us. Well, we did, but, you know.
And Canada courted y'all hard.
Canada, we actually bought resources in Canada, and the smart money said that was going to be the first GTL in North America. It was only through the efforts of economic development, the Port of Lake Charles, the Chamber Southwest, that we were able to catch up with the Canada project and put forth a better proposal.
Would you agree George Swift is about as good as they get?
George
Swift is just a quality guy.
George is great.
Lake Charles, our area is so fortunate to have George Swift.
To have George Swift, to have Bill Race and Mike Dees at the port.
Mike,
I mean, those are just some great guys.
And those port board members. I mean, I know one of them in particular.
All that good
does a great job.
I represent the city of Westlake on that board.
Okay, all right, well, good. So those port, you know, especially one member in particular. Okay.
Now, I'm gonna stay on the riverfront out there. From what we're understanding is that you're going to actually put a bulkhead out, and
we're going to put a bulkhead out. We're going to dredge so that we can pull barges up.
Yeah.
But the barges that we pull up there are only for equipment unloading.
Yeah.
So we don't think that the traffic on the river is going to increase that substantially. The number of times the railroad bridge opens isn't going to change that substantially, and we do not intend to use that dock as our product loading. So we won't be loading product out of Westlake.
There was some concern about that, of running pipelines down there and all those kinds of things. And I think some people, you know, just kind of grasp things and their thoughts instead of finding out what the true facts are.
That was a really good question.
Yeah. So, but now it's pretty well settled. That's just an offloading facility.
Offload for equipment,
Yeah.
yes.
And we talked about this last time we visited. You don't believe that the noise is going to be an issue there for those people?
We're still working through the issues on noise, but if the noise is an issue, then we've got problems. And it's just fundamental. We can't be disruptive to our neighbors.
Well,
So, you know,
the only
hopefully-
time you disrupt it is after 10 o'clock at night. Are you going to be running a 24-hour facility or?
Again, the module movements will be set by DOTD.
Yeah. Okay.
And we expect the noise associated with that to be standard diesel truck level noise.
Right, but no construction. There's not going to be any hammering and that kind of stuff there.
Not at the, well, no. The construction of the dock is going to be a regular operation, a regular
Right.
daytime
And it's
operation.
going to get done during the day.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That's,
Well, I know.
that's my expectation.
Yeah, I
I'll go
know
back
that
and
everybody
verify
asks.
that.
We've got some neighbors, some folks in Westlake that, I mean, live right there on that line.
Well, you
I
know,
mean-
I don't live too far from there, and if they make too much noise, they're going to hear from me.
And by the way, that river, the way it travels, that noise, you will hear it.
I will hear it.
Because it does, it just travels. It's amazing how sound travels on that river. So you will hear it.
Yes.
The good news is you can call Mike. We're going to give everybody his home number. You can call him at night. He'll be up also.
Hopefully fishing.
Yeah, not real. Fishing, is that what it is? Yeah.
I'll be up fishing.
There you go. There's some good fishing on that particular part. I mean,
I
that's,
can tell you about it.
yeah, well, they've told me about it. I don't fish, but they tell me it's pretty good.
Yeah, there was somebody had their lights on last night.
Yeah, mine were out there. I saw the lights on. I didn't know what to do with it, but it was on.
Well, I don't have any more questions for you, Mike, and I appreciate you being here. Richard, do you have anything else?
I don't think so. The main thing keeps coming back to me is like these local business owners, these guys that own these businesses locally. Will they, you know, is there some kind of mechanism that we could put in place that's going to get them?
We're asking our contractors to maximize the use of local businesses,
And these contractors
that's-
are already picked.
To some degree, that's correct. I can't tell you who they are because we haven't gotten money yet. You know?
I understand. Your deal's not funded.
Not yet. We have to get all of our permits, all of our zoning taken care of. Then we can meet with the lenders, and the lenders will give us the money, and then we can go to management and say, we have our permits, we have the lenders, give us approval to get started, and we'll get started.
And you're only looking for a $22 billion loan.
Actually, the first part is 5 to 7 billion.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a small one.
And a lot of people, you know, if you don't understand what a billion is 1,000 million. So that's 1,000 stacks of $1 million each, okay? And so on the first part of this project, we're asking for $5 to $7 billion from our management. That will be our mortgage on this facility that we have to pay back as we move forward. So, you know, understanding that building these things is very expensive, but you still have to pay for them.
Yes, that's the fact.
Yeah.
Now, where does the rest of the money come in? Because this is the $22 billion project.
The first part is the chemicals part, the ethane cracker and polyethylene units, and you know, the second part will follow about 18 to 24 months after that, and that'll be the gas to liquids part.
Okay. One of the questions we had a while ago, a young man asked if they were online yet, and I think he was talking about the deal y'all did recently, and you told me it was.
Oh, the tetramerization
Right.
unit. Yeah, the tetramerization unit is up. It's operating. It's making product. That, you know, that project, $200 million project, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that would have been a big deal.
Huge
you know,
deal.
Huge deal. Another 34 permanent employees, or full-time employees, and another, you know, half that number contract employees. So about 50 new employees. you know, fairly significant economic impact.
And it never makes the paper.
Never makes the paper, you know.
Because it's only 200 million.
Only 200 million, only 35 jobs.
Yeah, only.
34, 35 jobs.
Well,
so
that's great. Well, good.
Well, I just, Mike, is there anything you want to tell the people about Sasol, about yourself, anything that you want to kind of finish up on a note?
I do want to say that as a member of the Westlake Rotary Club, we just gave out 2 scholarships, $1,000 each, to 2 Westlake High School graduates who demonstrated community service and are off to college, and so I was happy to be a part of that.
Well, that's wonderful. Yeah.
Well, y'all's community involvement is certainly noted.
Yeah.
I had someone send a question in that I didn't ask you, but she said she wanted to know if you guys were going to sponsor local things in the community, and she was fond of the trash bash that we have, and wanted to know if y'all were going to be involved in things like that.
We've been involved in the trash bash at the Civic Center for a number of years. So we've been sponsoring things in the community for quite some time, and we'll continue to do so.
Yeah, I think the city
center,
the city of Westlake used to have trash bashes ever so often, and it worked out very well. We were fortunate to have the Knights of Columbus that would let us use their properties in which to unload the goods that people did not want to have anymore. So if the city, I'm sure, approaches Sasol, that they'd be glad to work with them.
Yeah, just let us know.
So, very good.
What and when.
I'll make sure. Hopefully she'll see this. I think our plans were to upload this to YouTube. Okay, that's the plan. So anyone that doesn't have the cable system in Westlake, you will be able to watch on YouTube. We're working. We've got our tech people all over it, and so hopefully that'll happen pretty soon. Anything else, Mayor?
Well, I just can we ask for an update maybe later on?
Yes,
sometime
indeed.
that you feel like you need to be on the show, and we could.
Well, once we get our wetlands permit and have a little bit more certainty on schedules,
Okay.
I'd love to come back on
right.
the show and talk about when each of these activities is going to start. Right now, you know, we're still at the mercy of others and not in control of our own schedule yet. But as soon as we get those permits, get our financing, we'll be good to go. So as soon as we get the permits, we'll have certainty on scheduling and can really start talking about when things will start.
When, what, and where.
Yeah, and if there's anything that we've missed in asking the questions to you, the people can start, you know, adding some more.
And continue to send them to that website. That website has been great. It's watched all the time, and it's really been great.
Well, we owe that appreciation to Courtney Flowers, who does a great job of getting everything ready.
Courtney has done a great job.
So we appreciate all her efforts on this. So it works out well. So with that, we'll close. And I just say we appreciate everybody watching, and we appreciate Mike very much for being here with us. This is his second time, and it's been very informative to our people, which is what they need to be, always informed of what's going on in their area. So
glad to do it.
Anyway, with that, if there are other people that you would like to see on this show and ask questions to, or have questions asked to them, put that also on Facebook, and we'll try to see if we can get those folks in too. I can think of one right now. We need to get Tony Mancuso to talk about the little crime that we've got going on in our area, so he can tell them what to do and what they should look out for and that kind of thing. So with that, we'll work on that. With that, so this is our show for today, and we appreciate everybody tuning in, and we appreciate KDLA and Sam Acuff for allowing us to do this. So with that, we're going to close the show and just say, you know, have a great day and a great life. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.